Hi there, everyone. My name is Christian Eschbach, and with me today for this special 333rd album review is Pandora, my kitty. I'm holding her, not under her throat. Anyways, she is my sweet little kitty. Yes. That means she wants down. So I'm going to put her down now. Now, if you would like to see more of Pandora in my videos, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, the little bell for notifications. Also, tell me in the comments that you'd like to see more of Pandora in my videos. Pandora only ever wants to get in my lap when I record. Now, let's talk about what we're here to talk about. And what we are here to talk about is the true closing to the Bon Scott era of AC/DC. I am talking about Bonfire. And interestingly enough, I get to do a slight comparison between the original release and the re-release. This is the original release. I bought this when this came out in... I was in college for journalism. So, and I want to say it was my second year, so I want to say it was like 98 or 99 it came out. Oh, according to the back here, it says 97. Alright, so it came out my first year. Alright, so, my version, cool booklet. I believe I left everything. This is one of my box sets where I really tried to leave everything in it, because some of my other box sets really got kind of messed up. Cool poster. Cool little stamp. Or not stamp, I believe that was a temporary tattoo, sorry. AC/DC pick. There's a sticker here. Oh, I did lose one thing, it looks like. It looks like I lost the AC/DC bottle opener over the years. Alright, so, now this contains 5 compact discs. Give me one sec here. Alright, so this contains 5 compact discs. And I'm going to use Tracy's. Now, so right away I can show you the difference with Tracy's. Tracy's got this little booklet right here. The same booklet as in mine, just slightly different size. And then her CDs are splayed out like this. Whereas my CDs are in proper jewel cases. But this makes my life a little easier when talking about this. Now, one of the albums in here is Back in Black. I'm not going to discuss Back in Black because I've actually done a review for it already. So you can just go watch my review to it, and I'll probably link it below as well, so you can just go over there when you're done here, because that would be the last one I would cover in here anyways. Now, the reason why Back in Black was put in here is Back in Black was the big goodbye, the big we miss you, you are our friend, we're mourning over you. That was done in honor of Bon Scott. First album featuring Brian Johnson. Now, the rest of the albums in here are a mix of live and previously unreleased material. There's the Let There Be Rock live in Paris, which if you're one of my regular viewers, if you watch the If You Want Blood video, I talked about and mentioned briefly, that's actually included here. The Live in Paris was a VHS that was always available at your regular local neighborhood Blockbuster. And you can pick it up at any time. It was usually in there, you know, unless you went on maybe a weekend, someone might have rented it, but you could usually find it. The Live in Paris, I'm actually going to cover that one first, even though technically it's classified as disc 2 and 3. I kind of want to get that one out of the way. What you're looking at is Livewire, Shot Down in Flames, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Sin City, Walk All Over You, Bad Boy Boogie, The Jack, Highway to Hell, Girls Got Rhythm, High Voltage, Whole Lotta Rosie, Rocker, TNT, Let There Be Rock. Now, I do not know 100% for sure when this was actually recorded. We always all assumed that it was during the Let There Be Rock tour, but then you look at the fact that there's songs on there from Highway to Hell, and you gotta wonder if it was actually from the Highway to Hell tour, or maybe, because they used to do this a lot in the 70s, they used to take songs that were going to be on the next album out on tour before the album would come out. It would help kind of promote the album. Because believe it or not, it used to be the tours were done to promote the album sales, not the albums used to promote the tour sales. Totally gotten kind of weird and flippy nowadays. So that set list, it's all good. It's all fun. It's all great high energy. It really isn't a song in that set list that I'm not a fan of when I'm listening to it as a whole. Individually, I've mentioned this before, Let There Be Rock's not a huge fan I'm not a huge fan of the song. Sounds like a good one to close out the thing with, though. You know, this was before they did For Those About to Rock. So Let There Be Rock would be a pretty decent closer and definitely leave people kind of feeling, whoa, like, what the hell. Livewire would be a great opener. But they don't open Livewire quite the same way as they do on the album. Shot Down in Flames. I'm hit and miss on that song. I appreciate the song, but I'm not overly into the song. Bad Boy Boogie, I could have done without. Walk All Over You, it's not a bad choice to put on there. I would have probably picked something else from Highway to Hell. Same with Shot Down in Flames. Girls Got Rhythm definitely belongs on there. Other songs, once again, I mentioned this in the If You Want Blood review. It really surprised me that Dirty Deeds isn't on there. Because Dirty Deeds was freaking... It is huge. It still is. It's a concert staple. It's a main song for them. Like, you cannot go to an AC/DC show and not get Dirty Deeds. So it's really, really weird that it's not there. Alright, I'm going to move on to Disc 1 now. Okay, so when it comes to Disc 1... it is the Live at Atlantic Studios disc. And it is, hold on. Oh, that is. It's this one right here, Live at Atlantic Studios. So they were doing a showcase. It sounds like it was probably broadcast over the radio as well. And it was a showcase of their music. A small, intimate club. Not huge. You can definitely tell it's a live audience, though, by the regular sounds that you're hearing going on in the background and whatnot. It doesn't sound piped in, which I complained a lot about during If You Want Blood. This one has a set list of Livewire, Problem Child, High Voltage, Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be, Dog Eat Dog, The Jack, Whole Lotta Rosie, and The Rocker. Sorry, Rocker, not The Rocker, just Rocker. This is a little punch-in. I totally forgot to mention this, and I'm thinking about it now as I'm editing the box set. On the Atlantic Studios disc, the version of The Jack that's on there is actually the clean version. It's the poker card game version of The Jack. It's not the normal live version that we're used to, where it's the dirty lyrics, which is really cool because in all the live versions I've ever heard, there's never been a live version with the clean lyrics. It's always been the dirty lyrics. So I just wanted to put that in there while it comes up. Anyways, sorry. Once again, interesting choice of live set list. I think it's really, to me, the part that kind of always keeps blowing my mind is what a difference in the Bon Scott setlist material from the actual Bon Scott era to the Brian Johnson era. It's really interesting to compare because, I mean, I've seen them live myself, and I've bought, you know, I've got the Live at Donington because I've covered that one already, both the single and the double disc. And if you look at the Bon Scott era stuff that's in there, like, you know, the Jack's there, TNT's there, a whole lot of Rosie's there, obviously, you know. You don't get Livewire really anymore, which is a shame. Livewire is a good song. You don't really get Problem Child too much anymore. You do get High Voltage every so often, not too much. Hell Ain't a Bad Place to Be still happens. Dog Eat Dog still happens. Rocker, not so much. But there's other songs that go in there that you don't get so much over in there. Like I said, Dirty Deeds is a big one. Dirty Deeds really blows my mind, the fact that that was not around on any of the live albums I have talked about. If You Want Blood, not on there at all. And I have now talked about 3 other live sets where it's just not there. Now, the Live at Atlantic Studios I really like because I like listening to the interaction between Bon Scott and the audience. And it's fun, it's playful. You can tell it's a more intimate setting where they can joke around a little bit more, stuff like that. It's really kind of cool that way. I really get into that. But that's kind of where it sort of ends for me as well. Out of everything that's in the box set, the live albums are what I listen to the least. That's just the truth. And on that, let's get on to Disc 4, also known as Volts. Nothing worse than when a recording glitches out and you have to record a segment after you've done the whole entire thing and you're in the middle of trying to edit everything together. Alright, so the 4th disc in here is the Volts disc. Alright, that's the pretty little cover right there, what it looked like on the in the jewel case that I've got, and that's the CD right there. Alright, so the Volts album is, to me, probably the best album in the set. Now, having all that live material is awesome. The problem is as I've mentioned, the live material kind of covers a lot of the same songs over and over again, which is a bit of a downside, especially depending on what your personal preferences are for those in particular songs. This album, this disc, on the other hand, is 10 tracks, and they are different tracks for different reasons. Some of them are alternate takes, some are live tracks, some are just on here, even though they're the same as the studio. And I'll explain as we go. So the first one you got is Dirty Eyes. Now, Dirty Eyes is the first title and lyrics to the riff for A Whole Lot of Rosie. Dirty Eyes, it's cool to hear. It's definitely not Rosie, though, and you'd rather hear Rosie. Touch Too Much is the same title as the track on Highway to Hell, but with other lyrics and music. Completely different song. You can hear little bits and pieces in here that eventually became part of the song that we all know as Touch Too Much. But this one definitely is something different. Interesting listen. You got If You Want Blood. This is the version first recorded of the track. So basically it's your demo version of it. Good version. It's nice to hear where it started and where it ended up, kind of thing. Backseat Confidential is the first lyrical attempt at what eventually became Beating Around the Bush. Part of me almost likes Backseat Confidential a little bit more. Beating Around the Bush feels like he was kind of told he had to change the lyrics because they were too straightforward, so he had to beat around the bush with the lyrics. Get It Hot. Same title as the track off of Highway to Hell, but this one's got different lyrics and different music to it as well. Not a whole lot different, a little bit different, sort of, kind of. More energy on the one that's on the album. Sin City, this is live from Midnight Special, which was a huge show for playing stuff live. Why they would use Sin City, I don't know. She's Got Balls from Bondi Lifesaver. I would have to honestly check out the details on Bondi Lifesaver, and I'm not pulling them up right now. Surprised that they included it in here, because it does sound different than the one that we all know from previous albums, but it's pretty much kind of more the same song. You kind of just sing along with it, no problem. Then you get School Days. This is from TNT, which was an Australian release. TNT was kind of like the Australian version of 74 Jailbreak over here. It was kind of a compilation of stuff that was left off of the Australian releases of either High Voltage or Dirty Deeds. Then you got It's a Long Way to the Top, which is the version directly off of High Voltage. The reason why... Oh, I should mention with School Days, sorry. It's also a Chuck Berry cover. Alright, It's a Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll from High Voltage. This is the classic Long Way to the Top. Had to be on there. How could you put together a box set as a tribute for Bon Scott and not include the one song Bon Scott plays an instrument on? The fucking bagpipes, man. The bagpipes were on this. It's awesome. You gotta love Long Way to the Top, man. And then the album finishes with Ride On. Now, here's where it gets interesting between the two box sets. This version of Ride On says it clocks in at 5 minutes and 47 seconds, which is the length of the original song. And Ride On is a specific... is a beautiful song. It's definitely one of the greatest Bon Scott era songs, which is why it's on here. Honestly, you could not put this box set together and not have Ride On it. I'm actually surprised there's not a live version of Ride On. That's one of those ones that really kind of blows my mind. Because it would have been a great, great live closer. I think so. Now, I would have to listen to this specific version to see if it's the exact same as my version. Because my version, it extends past Ride On. There's hidden stuff at it, which is like some live commentary stuff, you know, interviews and stuff like that with Bon. And it's really cool to hear him talk about Rosie, stuff like that. Once again, I'd have to listen. I don't know if it's on there or not. Now, my complaint about that hidden bit at the end with the interviews and that, I really think it should have been a totally separate track. On my version of the box set, it flows, you get a little break, and then it starts the conversation. So it's kind of like a hidden track. And I could do without it being a hidden track. It should have just been on there as a proper track. That way you could choose to listen to it if you wanted to, or you could choose not to listen to it. Realistically, at the end of the day, I have to go grab my version off. If I want to listen to Ride On, I can't listen to it off the box set. I have to go listen to my version off of Dirty Deeds, because otherwise I automatically get stuck with the commentary stuff. Alright, folks. Those are my views, my opinions, my thoughts. This is AC/DC Bonfire. I think you should pick it up if you're an AC/DC fan. You got it. If you were a Bon Scott AC/DC fan, you have to have this. It's mandatory. I do not regret getting this, even though it sounds like I'm kind of talking it down a little bit because of all the live stuff that was on here. I'm not. I like this set. I listen to this set. I enjoy this set. I don't listen to it as often as I could, or I should, but it is a fantastic set. And as I previously mentioned, the set does finish with a disc 5 of Back in Black. Please follow the link below. It'll take you to my review of Back in Black. Alright, folks. That's it. I'm done. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell for notifications. There is a comment section below. There is also a link below that will take you to Patreon and the one that will take you over to the Back in Black review. Peace. Love. Take care. Shazbot. No.